Hello retro friends, today I'd like to talk about a new app for Android devices, and well, it isn't so new, it's already available for a couple of weeks, but well, it is quite new in terms of what it does and for what it can be used. And as usual, I'm not just talking about the app itself. I'd like to provide you a little bit of background why I especially want to talk about this app. And basically, as you may imagine, it has something to do with SID playing SID songs, songs from the Commodore C64. And for me, since it is a very good, very big passion, listening to C64 music, it is really some very interesting thing. And I have to admit that I started to listen to C64 music way back in the early 90s, and this was so almost the first time I had a C64 and was kind of, well, it's introduced to the C64 scene. And there were already a lot of songs around, and I mean, the 80s were just gone, and most of the stuff was produced during the 80s. And I was really kind of addicted listening to SID sounds and all that stuff. And since we talk about the whole time about listening to SID sounds, and well, then actually let's listen to SID sounds as well. So and I started to record certain songs on tape. I had a tape player in my car back in the time, and I had quite an excessive collection of SID sounds on those tapes. A couple of tapes flying around, covered with racing themes and more theoretical stuff like Rob Hubbard songs and something like this. And it was a little bit cumbersome to record this from a real C64 because you had this background noise and all that stuff, and it was pure mono. And I was a little bit envy looking to the Amiga guys with those 4-channel mod music format, which was able to play in stereo as well, having 2 channels, two tracks per channel. And I was kind of replicating this on my very early PC. But coming back to the SID, as I said, it was a little bit cumbersome to record those songs from a real C64 because the availability of players and the availability of the songs itself as files was, well, let's say, limited. And so we were quite happy as the first SID Play for Windows version appeared, and we started to collect SID files from almost everywhere. And I think it was about the same time as the high voltage SID collection started as well, to collect all the available SIDs. And the SID Play for Windows was based on a very, let's say, easy or very simple emulation of the SID sound. So it was rather disappointing in most of the situations we have used this. And basically the only thing you could really listen to was SID songs made for the 8580 SID, for example. But most of the older 6581 tracks, they sounded pretty, well, cheap and not very good. And so I kind of abandoned the whole thing of playing SIDs on emulated devices or emulated way or software. And it took quite a while until I became aware of a project called the HardSID. And the HardSID was basically at the beginning an ISA card that could be installed on your PC, and you were able to run this card together with an original SID IC. And I never owned the card, I have to admit, and I was always looking whether I can get a card like this, but the ISA structure was almost dying at the time as I became, well, let's say, aware of this. But then I learned that there's a PC card, a PCI card available as well, and it was the beginning of this external USB devices. And there was I think it was called HardSID Uno or something like this, or Uno. It was for one SID, and then the HardSID 4U was available as well. And this is basically a device that looks like this. It's a black box, and it's quite heavy, and it's quite robust, and it's very well built. And the interesting thing is that we can implement 4 original C64 ICs and SID ICs, and you can even mix them, and you do not have to fill the whole card as well. So you can run this with 1, 2, 3 or 4 SID chips, as we can see it here right now. And so I got quite addicted by this device. It was pretty costly at the time, and I was really happy to get one from eBay for, well, almost a lower price. And it was already fully equipped with SID ICs. This device became my main device for playing SID songs on the PC and on different platforms like Linux, for example. And it became my main device for playing SID music and sound effects when I was using emulators, for example. So I was still not convinced of emulated SID sounds, and therefore it was a really nice chance to have this thing and run your games and demos on the emulator while listening to the original SID IC sound. And it can be configured to run the 8580 as well as the 6580, and you can mix it, so you can equip it with your own capacitors for the filter characteristics. And it's a pretty handy device. It's very well built, and well, unfortunately, like most of the good stuff available for the C64, this kind of faded away, so the website wasn't available any longer, and it is really a pity that the driver development stopped as well. So somewhere between Windows 7 32 bits and Windows 7 64 bits, this whole project came to a stop. And I think the Mac OS driver were never released for this card as well. So I'm still happy that I got one, and I'm using it from time to time. And coming back to playing SID music, and especially listening to SID music while sitting in your car, driving with the car, or just roaming around, having your headphones on, I started to record a lot of songs using the HardSID device and Cubase, just to have all those songs I like to listen to with me. And I'm just going to show you the whole process, how it looks like. So I recorded basically 2 or 3 different SID ICs just to see how good the sound. And then I started to have some stereo enhancement and some equalizer and all that stuff. So for a 5-minute track, it took about 1 to 2 hours to record this in a quality I like to listen to. And then I have created quite a huge collection of SID files. And as you can see, this is my folder, and it contains about 463 items, plus some, including some album arts, a thumbnail, something like this. But it's a 400 plus songs folder, all recorded with a lot of love to detail. And then I've used my Ibasso DX100 player, which is a kind of a high-endish player, and you can connect very good. Keeps flipping the screen. That's quite strange. You can connect very good headphones to this one. It can drive very big headphones as well. And this became my main unit for listening to SID sounds, but as you can see, it's a pretty thick and a pretty heavy device, and it became a little bit cumbersome to roam around with this thing, especially when using train, for example, or just having a walk to the city. And due to this very, let's say, strong or very powerful headphone amplifier, it becomes quite warm as well. So if you have this in your pocket, you can definitely feel it. And so I kind of abandoned this concept as well. I'm just using this player at home for listening to, well, other kind of music now. And this finally brings us back to SidAMP, which is, well, the main reason for this video. And instead of listening to this pre-recorded stuff from my DX100, let's connect the tablet and listen to the music on the tablet right now. So I'm going to unplug this and switch over to this one. And there's already one title running. Let's switch over to this one. And well, as usual, it's from Spino. That's my choice number one for background music and listening to SID music artist. And he's pretty active. You can find him on YouTube as well. And anyway, the main reason is this application. And if you install this on your Android device and you start this up, first question you will see is whether it should download the high voltage SID collection. And this is a pretty handy feature because operating on the Android file system level is indeed a little bit cumbersome. So, and basically it is very comfortable that this application is downloading this for you, and then it will extract the files. This will take quite a while because there are a lot of files on it. And the very interesting feature here is that it uses the song length information from the high voltage SID collection as well. And then you do not have to care about skipping songs for yourself and all that stuff. And I mean, basically at the moment it just plays one song, and the sub songs included in the song, and it keeps skipping automatically to the next sub song until it has reached the last one. And if this one is finished, it starts from the very beginning. And as you can see, the interface is very lovely done with a kind of Petsky graphics, and especially on this bigger device, it looks very fine, very good. And you have actually 4 different functions. One is the search function, where you can browse through your directory. Basically, it's named browse, but you can search for songs as well. And the next thing is the playlist support, which is coming soon, hopefully. And the third thing is the player itself. You have some nice pet screen oscilloscope view, and if you click on it, you have it almost full screen as well. And that's a pretty nice feature too. And you got all the information, the format, the speed, how many sub-songs, and the addresses, which is perhaps not so interesting if you are on a walk or something like this. The SID model, and the length itself. And the interesting thing here is that you have a progress bar too, and this works on all devices I have tested it so far. I'm using this on my Gemini device, for example, as well as on my outdoor phone, the Cat S31, which is a rugged phone, and works pretty well over Bluetooth too. And I've used this in the car as well for having some entertainment on the street. And in the menu we just have the option to use the system keyboard and to check for the high voltage SID collection. So basically If you skip this, then it will not look whether you have the high voltage SID collection on your Android device. And the system keyboard is something I highly recommend if you use this on smaller devices with smaller screens. And I'm just going to show you this. If you just hit the search button, you can see we have this on-screen C64-like keyboard here. And it is really hard to hit the right key, especially when the display is much smaller than this one. So for devices like this, I recommend using the system keyboard, and this will be overlaid over your normal screen, and then you can search for songs, authors or categories, and this makes it very handy. So I'm really looking forward to the playlist support, because this is something that very useful if you drive in a car, for example, and have you pay attention to traffic and all that things around you, and you don't want to fiddle around with searching through single songs and skipping to the next one. So you can create your own collections of SID songs, and then you just select the playlist. And well, that's basically all I have to say about this thing. The sound quality is pretty good. It's not perfect. Well, it's not a real SID, but which SID is sounding like a real SID? I mean, there are so many, and they sound so differently, especially the 6581. And I think for purposes like this, like listening in the background, or listening while shopping or in the car or something like this, it is good enough. It's almost perfect, and probably you wouldn't spot the differences while on the road, for example. And one thing you have to keep in mind, if you really listen to this for quite a long time, then you may connect your device to an external power supply, because this application is really hungry, and it sucks out the battery quite fast. And but especially in the car, it shouldn't be a problem at all. And well, I hope that the development will show some progress. I've seen some announcements on Twitter that Vladimir is already working on the next features, and especially the playlist support would be very nice, and perhaps having some additional, let's say, Bluetooth features, or features like if you disconnect your audio cable, that the player stops automatically, and a Bluetooth function to transfer a song title and author, for example, to your car system or to your external display would be very nice as well. And basically that's all I want to say about this app. It's very nice. Give it a try if you're on Android. I highly recommend this. And feel free to follow Vladimir on Twitter as well, and give him some thumbs up for the development of this one. And if you have any questions, as usual, if you have any comments, feel free to use the comment section. I highly appreciate it, and I'm more than willing to answer as best as possible. And basically that's all. Then let's see us for the next episode, hopefully soon. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.